The job market is cooked, at least according to my friends with generic bachelor's degrees in business management. So I'm going to test that by looking for a job myself. And I'll be applying to and interviewing for real jobs. Now, if you don't know who I am, I'm a US Marine who studied and worked in networking for the last 8 years. My most recent position, however, was working for Mr. Beast's only IT technician from 2023 to 2024. I even built his new server room that was worth over $3 million.
To even house that much footage, you need a giant server. So in our other studio, I'll show you when we go over there, we have a multi-million-dollar server rack and everything that our editors can remote into.
I've also configured and designed a network for 7 of his offices, including his main studio. Now, you would think with a background like that, I'd probably have no problems finding a job, right? Well, we're going to test that out in this video. Now, I'm usually not a big fan of having my picture on my resumes. A lot of people think I look very young for my age, and I do. I mean, most of you guys thought I was a lot younger than I was when I posted my first couple videos. For me, having my picture on a resume, I feel like it hurts me more than it benefits me. But for the sake of this video, in case anyone out there hiring has seen one of my videos, I think it'd be pretty cool to see if we get any interesting content out of it. So I'll be including my picture, and we're going to be using one of these templates. I kind of like this one. I guess we could say something like network engineer for Mr. Beast and everything. I think that looks great. Now, the most important aspect to consider for this video is I don't have any college experience or school experience, and I also don't have any standard certifications. I do have Marine Corps equivalent versions of them, but they don't really count for anything in the real world. Next, for education, honestly, I have like 0 education, so delete. Actually, we'll put high school diploma here. Perfect. We're going to change this to references. That works. I think that looks great. Honestly, just looking off of this, I'd probably hire myself. So we're going to send it out to people and see how it does. All right, to make this easy, we're going to look for IT jobs. Hopefully I can get a job doing that. I think that'd be pretty sick. So we're going to look up IT. Cloud administrator, sure, let's try that one. Apply now, not doing that. Let's do application support specialist. Let's give this one a shot. Not doing that. Well, Florida was kind of a bust, so we're going to Charlotte and see what we get there. IT technician trainee. This one should be easy. Driver's license, IT, 1750. 1750 is not too bad, honestly, if you're just starting out at an entry-level position. Relevant experience, network technician at Mr. Beast YouTube LLC. Do you have a valid driver's license? Yes. This is an employer written question. Are you 18 years or older? Yes. High school. Did you fully read the job description and how to apply? No, I mean, yes. There we go. That's the first one. All right, now I'm going to keep spamming these out, and hopefully we get an interview within the next couple weeks.
We're all here, so, all right. All right, so, let me, do you have any questions first of all?
I guess the most important questions I have right now is I don't have any certifications. I mostly just have like a lot of experience. I'm working currently on the network security cert. I'm doing it through a school so I can get a discounted price on the exams. But I mean, if that's not an issue, that's really just my only question.
Yeah, I don't. And here's the thing: is I've been in this industry a long time, and I've worked with people without certs who are just fantastic. And I've worked with people with certs, and they're just not so much. So,
Yeah, that's been
so
an issue for me too.
it's just it's, and I get it. It's more of a level set of knowledge, yada yada, and some people do better with hands-on and not really about regurgitating facts or that kind of thing. So hopefully I can do an assessment of your technical skills. That's kind of what I'm doing is I'm just making sure you can spell IP and you know and or how much you know about it.
Yeah, of course.
Kind of delve into that. So yeah, just tell me a little bit about why you think that you're qualified for this position, or what drew you to it.
So, I've been looking for a job on base. My biggest issue was not having the certs because they do require it a lot of times. Um, but currently, I've been working for Mr. Beast YouTube. I don't know if you know who that is.
I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've done all of his network. I'm the only IT guy there for the last 9 months, 9.5 months, 10 months, something like that. Um, so I've done everything from build a server room from scratch. Obviously, I did have help from outside contractors that we've used to help put up,
Mm-hmm.
just because it is a lot of equipment. So I have a lot of experience in both stacking and racking. I've ran all the cables through the building. I've done both fiber and copper mediums, and I'm also in charge of programming and setting up all their Cisco systems. They have a Cisco
Okay.
Meraki currently is what we use, and then we
Gotcha.
also use Ubiquity or Unify, whichever name you know them by. Those are the two
Yeah.
main companies we use, and then we have like smaller companies like I think it's called HSC Solutions, which provides us like our anything fiber related, including our little GBICs that we use.
Okay.
Or SFPs.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, I forget
So
they're called SFPs now.
yeah, they are called SFPs. Yeah, or QSFPs if you're
Yeah.
going like 100 gig. So
Hmm.
okay. So all right. So you worked with the Cisco Meraki stuff
Yeah.
and the Ubiquity.
Yes.
Um, and they're both more of a controller based system. Have you worked on the specific, CLI on the Cisco side?
Yeah. That's I only use the CLI. I know you always have the option of using their like
Gotcha.
web browser based setup that they have by turning it on or whatever and going into the IP. But I'm more comfortable using CLI just because that's how I learned it in the Marine Corps. I have 5 years of IT experience
Gotcha.
in the Marine Corps, and we just learned Cisco. We just got Cisco shoved in our heads nonstop, and it was all CLI based. It wasn't anything. We didn't do anything else. So there's that. I mean, I have a lot of experience with even the new equipment that the Marine Corps is getting right now, like the Wisdom Lights. So I have experience pretty well rounded for the Marine Corps. Um, I've both operated and fixed their satellite systems, the VSAT smalls and large. I've fixed all of the Harris radios. I've worked with just about anything because I was in a deployable unit, so we didn't have a lot of techs in the shop. So every tech had to be well rounded in every MOS.
Okay. Okay. And you currently live in, I
Yeah,
guess that's pretty. I mean, it's close to. It's also close to, I guess, a little bit of as well.
yeah. So I was stationed which is why I'm excited to go back there and work again. Um,
Gotcha. Yeah.
and I bought my house here before I got out. So I would like to
Gotcha.
stay in the area, and I really enjoy working
Yeah.
with the military.
Yeah. I think out of all the people we have working at, I think there's only a couple that are not Marines or former Marines. So you'll fit in with the jarhead crowd down there. So yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Okay. Let's say that I've given you a Cisco switch, like a 9300, and And I've provided you with a configuration you put on. It's going to be an access layer switch, so it's all layer 2. And so you paste in the configs, or the config, I guess, and then you connect the uplinks, and they're green. Good, things are blinking, and they're up and up. So let's see, generically the switch is configured, let's say 200, VLAN 200 is the user VLAN, VLAN 300 is the printer VLAN. You start connecting up the printers. Great, they're pulling an IP. Awesome. You start connecting in the user, the people, the users up to the ports that are configured in VLAN 200, but they don't pull an IP. So you're like, well, that's weird. Let me show spanning tree VLAN 200, and it says you're the root. And I'm like, okay, that's not supposed to be the case. So you try that for VLAN 300, and you're not the root for VLAN 300. So what would you do to troubleshoot what is going on?
To troubleshoot not getting a IP on VLAN 200, I'd make sure that the VLAN is configured properly and that DHCP is working. He's saying if
and
I'm...
it is, and it is, because the layer 3 is happening, at the distro layer. It's not happening on your switch, but it's at the distro layer. So everyone else is fine. It's just this one switch that you've just installed, and you're trying to troubleshoot what's going on.
Okay, so I'm getting blinking lights on everything, so I know that my layer 1 everything's working well. So after that, I'd be going into... You said I am getting IPs for VLAN 300?
Right.
Okay, and then VLAN 200 is not getting IPs, so I would make sure that... I'll be honest, I don't know. I'm not very good at questions like that. I'm more of a hands-on person.
Okay, well that's fine. Let's so what command would you issue to make you to kind of troubleshoot what's going on? I mean, I told you the output of show spanning tree for VLAN 200 and 300. 200 says you're the root. You're like, oh, that's not right, and 300 says you're not the root. So, what other commands would you issue to try to figure out what's going on?
I always start off by showing config, making sure everything's written right in the config and there's no typos anywhere. Checking everything's open, making sure the ports are activated, because a lot of times ports aren't activated. And if there's no issues with that, I would make sure all the IPs are set up properly on the Cisco switch itself. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure what the root question is. I'm a little confused on that.
Yeah, no. So you're just trying to figure out why VLAN 200 is not working and VLAN 300 is. This is the layer. This is just to give you a hint. This is not a layer 3 problem. Layer 3 is fine. It's just a layer 2 problem. So, like, are we familiar with like trunks?
Yeah, I'm familiar with trunks.
What Cisco is called trunking, other people call tagged and untagged, VLANs and stuff like that. So what would you check if I were to give you that hint?
I would check that the trunk port is working properly, because if it's just pushing up VLAN 300 packages, then I would make sure that it's shooting up also VLAN 200. So it'd be a trunk port, so it'd do both.
Okay. So do you know the command you would issue to see that, either operationally or configuration wise?
Yeah, so I would use a show config to make sure whatever port I have set up to connect to my other switch above is the trunk port. Because I could have a trunk port using, but if I'm connected to the wrong port, obviously I'll have the same issue where 200 IP trunks aren't, or 200 IP VLANs aren't going up, and things become it drops any untagged, or it drops any 200 tagged IP packets.
Right. Yeah. So and that was the case. The 300 was on the trunk port. 200 was not.
Okay.
Pretty simple. Sometimes you got to, if you're getting a configuration and it's not correct, you got to troubleshoot that. So are you familiar with IP addressing and how that works and subnets?
I am pretty familiar with it. I'm not like super great at subnets. I don't know how to do the math off the top of my head. I kind of just Google a lot of it.
Actually, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you like if I were gonna give you a /24, you know what that means, right?
/24 is, yeah, the 255 255 2550.
Right. So if I were to allocate you a /24 and I said you needed to break this up into as many subnets as possible, with the support of 25 users per subnet, could you break that up and tell me what the CIDR is for that, or is that where you Google it?
Yeah, that's where I'd Google it, I'll be honest.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's fine. I mean, some people can do binary math in their head,
Yeah, I'm not good
but
at subnetting off the top of my head, I'll be honest.
it's fine. That's fine. All right. Let's see. So you mainly work on the CLI and not on the Meraki
Web page host, whatever it's called.
web, yeah, hosted environment.
Yeah, no, I honestly just stick to CLI. It's a lot easier for my brain to understand things and not going through different UIs and having to find new things. It's just a lot easier for me I can type in what I know I want and I know where to find it. Over UI, it's like clicking through stuff and like drop down menus, and I just not a fan of it.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So it looks like you have worked with, let's see, the Ubiquity side. So mainly access points, or are you doing like the Dream Machine or physical security cameras? Like what on the Ubiquity side? Mm-hmm.
So on the Ubiquity side, I've installed everything from access control, cameras. I have my Dream Machine Special Edition at home, so I've set up the firewall by myself. I've set up firewalls for different churches. It's kind of like the main thing I use because I've done a lot of churches recently, and it's what I've been, giving them, because then they have access to all those options such as cameras, access control. I can manage their firewall. I can see things are up or down. I can handle different sites at a time without having to, you know, I have everything in one application where I could see things a little better. So for smaller things like a church, I do like to use Ubiquity. And at Beast, we really just used their switches, their aggregation switches. We didn't use a Dream Machine for them. We had another company that had their own firewall set up, which was the Arista firewall. I forget what kind of a machine they were hosting it on, but they had like some generic like server machine where they were hosting it, and I was handling all of their firewall needs, obviously allowing disabling traffic through it. But I didn't really touch much on the firewall systems at Beast just because they had their own company to handle that portion of it.
Gotcha.
But for Ubiquity, we had all their aggregation switches, we had all their switches, access points. We used cameras. We even used the door access, which was allowing the magnets and mag locks and everything to work.
Gotcha.
We had their little button thing with their mag lock kit that they have. I think it's a G3 kit that it's out right now. That's the one we were mostly using. And I used a couple strikers for OpenPath. OpenPath is something similar, but I think OpenPath works a lot better in my opinion. So I've done access control for a couple different brands, and for Ubiquity, I've used pretty much all of their products. I've even used their point-to-point systems and set them up by myself and everything.
Yeah. So which one of the point-to-points that we're using, like the 5 gigahertz, 11 gigahertz? I think they have a 25 gigahertz or 40 gigahertz, one of those, or 60 gigahertz, maybe. Anyway.
Right now, they have their bridge to bridge, and then they have the small one, the Bridge XT or something like that, and then their smaller one, which I don't remember what it's called. But I've used both of them and I've set them both up.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I've used actually I think it was a 24 gigahertz for on-base stuff in Afghanistan. So, all right. and it was unclassed, so we were able to use the Ubiquity stuff. So
Oh, okay.
it was, yeah, because if it were on the Nipper or Sipper, they would not allow
Mm-hmm.
Ubiquity on there at all. So, um, okay. Well, let's see. I don't have any further questions for you. You have anything you want to ask me?
Um, no, I mean, honestly, I'd be really excited to work with you guys. I'm sorry I'm not really good at tests. I'm very much a hands-on person. That's why I don't do the certifications very often. I'm only really getting them now just because I kind of have to for a job on base. But
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just a very hands-on person. I'm not good with processing things in my head through for testing purposes.
Okay. Well, yeah. What we're doing for the Marine Corps there at Lejeune, in fact, we're doing it right now 5 different bases. We've
Mm-hmm.
actually cut over 3 of the bases right now. We're using Cisco's software-defined access, using their data center or Cisco Catalyst Center is I think
Mm-hmm.
they're naming it now. So are you familiar with that at all?
A little bit. I don't have a lot of experience with Catalyst.
Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of what we're going to. It's similar to what Ubiquity and Meraki kind of does from a controller-based situation. You can log in and you can, because it's not magic.
Yeah.
It's regular networking underneath, but it's all kind of pushed out and managed by a controller.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, oh, you were talking about fiber and copper. What kind of fiber types have you worked with?
Both single mode and multi mode. Uh, OM3 was pretty popular for using at Beast. I don't think I've
Okay.
even touched OM4, if I'm gonna be honest. And yeah, I mean, I've spliced it myself, and that's what we got taught in the Marine Corps too, was splicing fiber. I've
Okay.
also put them in like their little patch panels and mounted patch panels for the not patch panels, but I don't know exactly what they're called for fiber, but they're
Well,
essentially patch
fiber
panels.
optic patch panels, we
Yeah.
call them FOPs. But yeah, yeah, you have a backside that you
Mm-hmm.
connect into, and the
Yeah.
backside goes to, and we normally don't mess with the backside at all.
Okay. Yeah.
The only thing we do is we'll put a fiber cleaner on the front side just to clean it, but other than that,
Yeah, and I've done everything from running the cable to putting up the patch panel and installing them in color order, and then doing their little loops and everything. So I mean, I've got pictures of
gotcha.
all my work, including rack management and cable management and dressing cables and everything. So I do have
Okay.
if you would like pictures too of stuff of work I've done.
Yeah, I don't know if you call it this, but I call it cable porn. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, I love a good dressed out rack. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's it's
100%.
awesome. So okay. Any other questions?
um, I guess I guess how day to day work is working with you guys. I guess that's a question.
So right now we're in the middle of installation, or we will be very soon. There on the base. So you'd be doing, doing a lot of installation and cutovers.
Yeah.
You don't know what that kind of is right now, but we've come up with a methodology to cut like a certain technical room over to our equipment, and we've kind of laid it out in a parallel fashion. In fact, we have our own IP space that we're using. And we have a /17 for the users. I don't know if you know what that is. That's a fairly large subnet. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so, but with SDA, you can make large subnets like that without having problems on the network. Like, you would never do that for another kind of enterprise network. So,
Mm-hmm.
so that's kind of what it is. You'd be helping with cutovers on base.
Okay.
Um, yeah, either cutting over the band or probably here soon the ASLAN, which is their voice network, their
Mm-hmm.
assured services network. So that's what we're going to be doing too. Is that so? I don't know. Does that sound interesting, fun?
Yeah, 100%. I'm super always excited to do any type of networking. I'll be honest.
Okay.
I'm really just enjoyed the job.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. Anything else?
I guess my other question was I'll be honest, I don't remember my question. I did have another
Oh, it's
question, but I
okay.
just can't remember off the top of my head.
No, it's okay. And we really enjoy promoting people from within. So you get in
Oh
and
yeah,
you
that was definitely a question for
and
me.
and if if you show that you're technically know what you're doing
Hmm.
and you can kind of have initiative and things like that, then we'll definitely, because we're growing. In fact, we stole one of the mid engineers from Camp Lejeune to be the senior for Air Station Buford and Recruit Depot Paris Island. So, and she's done great down there. And now she's going to be the senior for Cherry Point. So,
Okay.
so we're always looking for someone who enjoys networking and is a hard worker. So,
Yeah, that was I guess another question of mine is I'm really big on like I think the most valuable thing we can provide to anyone on the planet is just passing on knowledge. So I really like
yep.
training employees and working to grow with a team. So I was curious how that would look like, at least in not in the short term, but maybe in the long term.
Yeah, so we've done training on Cisco on the Cisco Software Defined Access SDA DNA Center. We're not doing a lot of that kind of work at this point, but we'd like to do more of it. So we have a partner that that installs the controllers, and then they're the ones on on the CLI, not on the CLI, but
Hmm.
on the web, on the GUI, as we're doing, and we're coordinating with them because there's some procedures we need to do to whether it's a brand new switch or whether it's one that we're reusing. There's different procedures to bring that back into the mesh, back into the SDA fabric. So our guys are doing that on the ground while they're doing that, the GUI part of that. So, but yeah, we've trained people on that. We're big into. I think there's educational reimbursement as well.
Okay.
I haven't taken advantage of that, but yeah, that's we're always looking to have employees better themselves
Hmm.
and to be where they want to be. And if some people come in, they're like, yeah, I don't really want networking. I want to be more of a sysadmin. Great.
Hmm.
They can move on. I don't think we have that many sysadmin positions in the company, but yeah, I mean, there's always new contracts. Netcoin is always getting new contracts. So, but we'll be doing this Marine Corps thing for a while.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
and I'll be honest, I like both networking and cybersecurity. Those are my like top two big things. So like if I'm in either of those two roles, I'm more than happy. That's where I love to be.
okay, all right, well, good. Um, okay, yeah. Anything else that you can think of?
Um, my last question was going to ask. I don't know. Honestly, I've been a little bit nervous for this interview. This is the first one I'm nervous for. Normally they go a lot better, but I'm really excited to work on bass because that's where I'd love to be
All
right
right.
now.
Yeah. Okay. I don't bite very hard, so
But yeah, no, I was just my biggest things are just one, growth for me, and then growth for people around me. I love to teach. I like to help people better themselves. So as long as I could help,
okay.
eventually at least get later down the road, be in a position where I can help others. That's where I love to be.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate your time. I'll give feedback to the recruiter, and then they'll get back with you on whatever next steps there are. Okay.
All right, thank you so much. I
And
really
is
appreciate it.
it Anthony or is it Tony? What do you
I
prefer?
go by Anthony or Ants just because my last name. So I go either one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate your time
Yeah, it was definitely a pleasure.
and all right. Okay. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you. Be safe. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
All right, now if you made it through that interview, I'm gonna be honest, I think it was pretty horrendous. I did miss out on like the easiest question I really could have ever gotten. Now it was a very simple question and a problem that a lot of technicians run into, especially when coming into a new network that they haven't touched before, just because it's a problem that can very easily happen. One, because you can plug your Ethernet cable into the wrong port on the switch. The other issue may be sometimes people forget to save things. I know me myself, I've had the issue where I'll set up my ports on Ubiquiti systems and just forget to hit the save button. But spoiler alert, I did get moved on to the next interview, which I pretty much got told no the second I logged in just because I was late by 2 or 3 minutes. I had just finished another interview and I did try explaining that to them. They asked me a bunch of personal questions and they also didn't like that I was very truthful with them. They asked me where I saw myself in the next 5 years, and I did answer honestly, I do want to have my own restaurant. If I can in the next 5 years, that'd be amazing. And they didn't really like that answer. They seemed like they wanted somebody who would work for them until retirement or until they decided they got done using them and fire them. Now, I'm not saying that's how that company operates, but for my experience, that's how companies tend to operate. And if you guys want a quick in detail explanation of what that question exactly was asking for anyone who's trying to get into an IT position themselves, you guys can leave a comment and I can make either a quick short on it. It's very simple, with a super simple fix. And had I had the actual configuration to read off of, it would have been a lot easier to answer that question for me. I'm very hands-on and need to see what I'm working with. Him just giving me like hints here and there didn't really point me in the right direction until he had mentioned trunk ports. But I really want to say thank you guys for sticking through that. I know it was a little, but I did want you guys to get the full experience of what my interview was like, just so maybe you can go more confidently into your interview, seeing that I did so poorly in mine and still managed to move on to the next portion. All right, once again, I do want to say thank you guys for everyone who's watched and supported my videos. I know it's been a little bit since I've posted my last one, but because of this video, I've actually gotten a job and I'm currently working at a company now. I am working on a response video to Jimmy's response video, and it did help me notice some things that I saw at the company. So I'm really excited to release that video. I'm still working on it. It is a pretty long video. I think it's a lot of fun, but I think it's a lot of good information that I really don't want you guys to miss out on. But I do want to say once again, thank you guys so much for watching my videos and sticking to the end.